Good evening. I want to thank you all for joining us here this evening. My name is Nada St. Germain, and I'm excited to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that's our children. And I'm just talking about how to give the best nutritional support for our kids. And I have Shelley Sheridan is going to be helping me here this evening, and she's going to share a powerful testimonial and along with myself. And just really excited to share how good supplements, whole food can really have an impact as our children are growing and developing, and giving them the best nutritional support as young children and as they grow into their teenage years. And it's a challenge. Nutritional foundation for a lifetime of healthy mind and body. And this is what we want to help our children to do. So when you're looking at optimal health or creating optimal health, you have to look at all areas of health. And I'm actually going to mute everybody. Sorry, I did forget that. Give me 1 second. So all areas of health that we want to look at is rest, exercise, diet, and hygiene. Okay, so those are the areas that we need to look at to improve, to give our kids the best nutritional support. So let's look at some of the nutritional needs for our children. Body weight doubles many times from birth. Young tissues and organs are developing. Cognitive learning skills are developing. Metabolic rates are very high. Energy demands are enormous. And nutrient-rich diet is essential. I remember growing up as a young girl and getting into my teens and being in school and just being so tired all the time. And when I look at this information now, it makes me understand why into my 20s I had hormonal imbalance, chronic fatigue. I was just tired all the time. And when I look at the nutritional needs and the demands, I look back and I understand now why I had all these health challenges as a teenager going into my 20s. So I'm really hoping that this information is going to help you understand that, poor diets equal poor health. I wouldn't say I had a poor diet, but I was lacking certain nutrients in my diet, especially with food processing that we're going to talk about. But today, when you look at obesity, 1 in 5 in Canada are overweight. These are children's stats. Skin conditions, eczema, acne is very high in our kids. Ear infections, a lot of antibiotic use, allergies. Children are struggling with common colds and flus, ADD, ADHD, diabetes, and more. We're going to cover some of these things. So cellular nutrition is critical. We got to make sure that the nutrients are getting to the cell. Again, children produce 1 billion cells each day, and our bodies have over 73 trillion cells. Healthy cells produce nutrients and provide energy. Sick cells steal energy and cause disease. So we're going to focus on cellular nutrition and how to get our cells healthy. Now, when you look at our children's diet, this is fact. Approximately 90% of children do not eat the recommended 5 or more portions of fruits and vegetables every day. And French fries are not considered a vegetable. If you talk to kids today, they do. And 1 in 5 eat no fruit at all. Of all age gender groupings, adolescents have the poorest intakes in their needs for nutrient-rich diets. And again, this is the greatest deficiency is at that adolescent age. So you really got to look at, how to support our children. The average intake of whole grains among children is less than 1 serving per day. Most children frequently consume junk food and carbonated soft drinks. Children and teens have diets high in added sugars, and only 20% use a multivitamin and mineral supplement. So there's a huge, huge gap in our children today. So why don't we get what we need from our diet? We got to look at our food and what's happening to our food and the history. So for example, fertilizers, right? They rob a lot of the nutrients like vitamin C, and our soils are depleted in a lot of your minerals, key minerals. processing, and we're going to talk about the milling of the grain, and when all of our foods that are milled and processed remove all these critical nutrients. And then there's canning and pasteurizing. So we're really missing some of these key nutrients because of the way our food is processed. Then there's storing. It's important to keep your food cold and sealed in a crisper, because they do lose a lot of the nutrient value the longer they stay in your refrigerator. And they say it's important to eat the outer layer of your vegetables because they do contain the highest level of nutrients. Important to wash them, and we're going to talk about the washing your fruits and veggies a little bit later. But this is really important. And then cooking, we grill, we roast, we steam or stir fry. Again, these ways of cooking also can destroy some of the nutrients, but you're better off to steam and not boil, okay? Because boiling will remove a lot of the nutrients from your fruits and from your vegetables. Now, lifestyle dictates food choices. Fast foods full of fat, snack packed sugar, skip meals, right? No nutrients. And again, soft drinks full of sugar and phosphates. And, I remember looking back now when my kids were growing up and they played a lot of sports, volleyball, basketball, football, on the road a lot. And then when you're in a tournament, I would always pack a cooler and pack snacks, and my kids thought I was like crazy bringing all this stuff all the time. But then I saw what other families were doing is running in between, games to McDonald's and fast food places. And then their performance on the basketball court or on the football field after consuming those foods, you can sure see the sluggishness in their performance on the field or on the court. So these nutrients or these foods are lacking the nutrients that our kids need to sustain their performance. And sugar and the immune system. I'm going to call on Shelley Sheridan because she has an amazing information to share. I've learned so much from her. I've always known that sugar was a challenge and a problem in her health. But boy, when she shared the challenge she had raising her son and her journey, I learned so much more. So I'm really looking forward to, Shelley, you sharing your information with us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Nada. Yes, I'm going to say, unfortunately, sugar is my story and my son's story. So yes, I grew up, a traditional family, healthy meals of your meat, vegetables, and your carb, and cereal every morning, and dessert definitely, and carbs. But how did all of that affect my son? Because this is a kid's thing. So if you want to scoot on to the next slide there, Nada. So here's a few things just to know about sugar. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a retired teacher. I'm also an iridologist, and I'm a mom. So this is where this information is coming from. So this is from a book called Lick the Sugar Habit. And here's some of the things. So sugar can suppress your immune system and impair your defenses against infectious disease. The immune suppressing effect of sugar starts less than 30 minutes after ingestion and lasts approximately 5 hours. So when I'm thinking about that, I'm going to say from a teacher's point of view, when people say, wow, do you know what, when we get back into September and, the kids start being around other kids, absolutely. But then we get into like October with Halloween and the sugars, and then we hit Christmas with more treats. It's no surprise that kids come home and are more sick, just because there's a lot more sugar that's suppressing the immune system. Sugar also causes food allergies as well. And here we are with the hyperactivity at home and school. Definitely make kids much more active and hyper. So a rapid rise of adrenaline, hyperactivity, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, and crankiness in children. And sugar can reduce the learning capacity in children. We always used to do all of the main learning like in the morning before they would have possibly their lunch, or if there was an activity in the afternoon at school with different treats, we would do it at the end of the day to make sure that the kids were focusing the most when they were in school. And this is a picture of my family and my son in the blue shirt, actually in both of those pictures. And his story was ear infections. And I knew a lot about the ear because I actually worked a lot with deaf and hard of hearing kids. So I understood the ears, but he would get an earache, and then we would do the antibiotics. And then, a few months later, all of a sudden he'd get another earache, and then more antibiotics. I actually had a whole list of how many times he was with earaches and antibiotics. And what I didn't actually understand was how the antibiotics were affecting his gut, and how he got into this real cycle of gut not having the right bacteria. And then actually what happened was he developed an overgrowth of yeast. It's called Candida. And part of that was because of how I grew up, he grew up. So therefore he had the cereal, he had the desserts, the treats, and you get that whole sugar carb kind of cycle going on. And, it's one of those things that, yes, not that this is going to happen to everybody, but I didn't know about that whole cycle and what else was an option until I learned about Neolife when Mitchell was actually 17. So that picture on the left with the whole family, he's actually 17, and he heads out the next year off to university. But by then, his digestion had gotten into real issues, and he had developed IBS. And if you want more of that story, I can share it. But just knowing now what I've learned about the cells and what we need to do, that's why I'm personally so passionate about it in sharing, because Nada, when you share about your kids who have never been on antibiotics, who had a strong immune system, it's like, wow, we really need to share this with families, because this is not in the curriculum. So on the right-hand side, that's 10 years later, about 3 years ago, where Mitchell is, and you can just see the difference and I know obviously he went a little bit through maturity as well and puberty, but he just has, a fuller face and the muscles on him. And Mitchell actually used to always say to me, Mom, if I was absorbing the way that I'm supposed to, and Nada will talk about that, and if I was getting the nutrients into my digestion the way that it's supposed to, wow, I would have been a lot stronger and be able to do a lot more in the sports, because he played so much sports in high school. So it made a huge, huge difference with him being able to get the cells working and just manage and get his body balanced. So he's a healthy adult now. So this is just a quote from Dr. Arthur First, and Nada will mention a little bit more about him starting the Scientific Advisory Board. Precisely at the time when young bodies' nutritional requirements are greatest, many fail to obtain all the nutrients they need each day. Deficiencies of vital nutrients can inhibit not only physical growth, but internal development, mental performance, and repair and maintenance of developing issues. Immune systems can be depressed as well, leaving the child more vulnerable to infection and disease. But we can do so much more to help our kids. And I'm so thrilled as a teacher and a mom that in 2019, the Canada Food Guide was changed. So now it's half of those wonderful, colorful fruits and vegetables. You're looking at proteins, which is a wide variety of protein. You're looking at the grains, and we'll talk a lot about that, just a quarter of the plate. And water. Water is so important as your drink of choice. So Nada, if you want to just share how to kind of fill in some of these gaps in the vitamins that kids need.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, these vitamins that our kids need, and we all need, but especially our kids as they're growing and developing. I mean, vitamin A is important for eyes and bone health, and B for energy and metabolism, C for immunity, antioxidant function, D again for bones and teeth, and E for healthy skin, antioxidant function. So all these nutrients play a really big role in strengthening the immune system and getting our cells healthy. And then there's our minerals. Minerals play a really big role as well in immune function and learning and development that we're going to be focusing on as well. And then we have protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So these are the macronutrients. Again, healthy proteins, carbohydrates, and fats from whole food sources is what our children need to grow and develop properly. And then we have the phytonutrients, which are your protective nutrients from whole foods like fruits and vegetables. So those dark colors. So when you talk phyto, plant nutrients, again, they play a really big role in protecting the body and strengthening the immune system. And again, when you're looking at vitamins and minerals and things like zinc and iron, plays a really big role in performance and learning and developing. So all these key nutrients are so important, especially while our kids are in that schooling age and they're having to concentrate and focus and learn. And then we're looking at what's going, what's all around us, especially over the last few years, the flus, the colds, the viruses. Again, we need to make sure that their bodies are protected. And again, spreads by respiratory droplets through coughing, sneezing, and direct contact with contaminated surfaces. So again, one thing that it's very important to stress with our kids is hygiene, right? Constantly hand washing. So very, very important, plays a really big role. Now let's talk about fevers. And so a fever is the body's normal response to fighting infection, okay? Fevers are more common in children because their body is developing their immune system, okay? So don't just treat the thermometer, treat the child. So sometimes people panic, and I would say monitor them, let them fight through the fever unless it gets really, really high, okay? Your child's behavior is the best indicator when something is wrong. Then there's our ear infections like Shelley was talking about. And Shelley, it reminded me of my Aunt Noreen. So remember she told me her daughter, Candace, had ear infections her whole childhood and today has severe digestive issues. And she looks back, I remember her sharing that with me, is all the overuse of antibiotics. They see that 80% of ear infections get better without antibiotics, okay? It's important to get good bacteria into your child's system to help them fight off infections. So that's really, really important, is that good live bacteria. Then there's a lot of challenges. I find we see more than ever are food allergies. It's increasing. 27% of children with food allergies also have eczema, okay, versus 8% without. And 30% of food allergies also have respiratory allergies versus 9% without. So there's so many kids today that have asthma, respiratory, that also have a link to some food allergies and food sensitivities as well. And some of the foods that can cause some of these challenges in their immune system: milk, eggs, peanuts, soybeans, wheat, tree nuts, fish, and shellfish. And I always recommend that families get their kids tested for food allergies and food sensitivities, so we know what we're dealing with, so we know how we can strengthen and support their immune system with good food, good quality supplements. So the solution: healthy lifestyle and preventative strategy. So let's look at some of the things we can do. One thing that I'm so grateful for is products made from whole food concentrates that are based in nature and backed by science. So when I looked at Neolife over 30 years ago, that is one thing that drew me to the company, was the science and knowing that I was going to be taking supplements that are made from whole food. So that's really, really important, again, to fill the nutritional gaps. So when you're looking at nutrition for the 3 different stages of growth and development, okay, because our children have different stages where they're growing and developing, to give them the best nutritional support at the cellular level. And one of the things that we all need, no matter what level of our age, are these whole grains. And I'm going to have Shelley come back, because I know this is something that drew you to the company as it did myself. This is the part that helped me with my hormones and getting my PMS under control, but there's way more to it. So I'm going to have Shelley share her experience in this area as well.
Yeah, absolutely. My hormones too, and just energy, it's just amazing. But the problem is our whole grains are no longer whole. And this was a real wake-up call for me, because this wasn't what I was teaching from the curriculum. I didn't realize that this was missing. So if we can look at way back when great-grandmother used to grind everything and make our bread, and it was nice and heavy, and it lasted maybe a day or two because it had what's called lipids and sterols in it, and that helps our cells. So that's so important to think about how it was way back when. But then in the 40s, they started milling the grains and they took out those grain oils. And way back in 1994, Dr. Segal was saying that those essential fatty acids would be perhaps the most important health problem in America, because those essential fatty acids affect our cells. And so great grandmother had great bread, but we don't anymore. So what do we have to do? We need to put it back in our diet. We need what's called TRINN, essential fatty acids, the lipids and the sterols of the whole grain. There's less gluten than a bowl of gluten-free cereal. So it's fine for people with celiac. Developed from a hospital research study. So as soon as it was put back into the women's diets, they all got better because it was helping the cells, and it promotes cellular energy and efficiency. That's what we need in our cells for it to work better. So if we look at the picture on the left, you can see the outside of the cell is not as malleable, harder for the nutrients to get in and more difficult for the toxins to get out. So if you can think on the right-hand side, the TRINN, the healthy cell, the nutrients get in and the waste is going out. So if you as parents are making nutritious meals, you want them getting into your kids' cells. So we want to make sure that the cells are healthy. For our little ones, we have a Liquivite. It contains that TRINN for the cell health. It includes whole food flavonoids and carotenoids for cell protection and immunity. It provides a full day's supply of the 12 most important vitamins, convenient, easy to take formula suitable for infants, toddlers, and adults who want or need a fluid supplement, and no artificial anything, no artificial colors or sweeteners or flavors or preservatives are added. This is Clark, one of our friend's son and
Daughter.
Oh, sorry, sorry. And Courtney is just feeding her the Liquivite. She just loves it.
Not quite yet.
Sorry, I was thinking of Ashley, who just had her little baby, who's a boy. Yeah. So when you start them young, they just go for it.
You start asking for it. I love at the end. She starts reaching for the bottle of liquid. So cute.
Good girl.
There she goes.
There you go.
Yeah, so important for our kids. And then as the kids get older and they can start to chew, we have the Vita Squares, which has the TRINN grain oils in it. It absorbs 50% more of the nutrients from food. It's loaded with the 18 essential vitamins and minerals. It includes choline and inositol to support cognitive function, so important as the kids are growing. Great tasting chewables derived from all natural fruit essence. And once again, no artificial anything, no artificial colors or sweeteners or flavors or preservatives. Amazing for our kids as chewables. And then more as an antioxidant are the VitaGuard. It's more like your berry citrus flavor. So immune powering nutrients from fruits and vegetables, whole food carotenoids and flavonoids for broad spectrum protection, zinc, selenium, maximum children's defenses. Once again, no artificial anything, because it is really difficult to get all those vegetables into our kids. So this is a great way to fill the gap. And this was my breakfast growing up. So of course it was Mitchell's breakfast growing up. And now there is no cereal to be found in our homes, because where is the protein? And protein is so important for us. And there's so much sugar and carbs in those. So important. If you can, it's nice as a treat every now and then, but if you can switch them into something healthier, it'll be so much better for our kids.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. A really great way to start off the morning is to have a shake. And you can have a shake with a little bit of cereal or toast if you want, but that nutrition from the shake is so important. All 22 amino acids, so important for building blocks for their proper growth, provides protein, calcium, vitamins. It also does all 22 so that they can fight off different germs that they encounter. 25 essential vitamins and minerals, 18 grams of protein, 5 grams of the fiber, which is hard to get into our kids as well. Once again, no artificial anything. We want to make sure that it's so good for them. Easily mixes with water, awesome. So here's a list of there's nothing. And this is one of our friends' granddaughters, and you can see how young they are. They were drinking that protein shake right out of a sippy cup. And it's great for a glycemic, just to kind of keep everything level instead of that spike of the carb and then they crash. We used to call it the 10 o'clock crash for our students because they'd come in after their breakfast and partway through the morning, they just crash. But now it helps the energy all throughout the day. Just great. And if you have a little one who needs to get down to their ideal weight, it's a wonderful way to help them. So start your day with an energy-filled and nutritious morning. Oh, and this is Ashley with the little boy. And there's one more added on there. So I'll turn it over to you, Nada, so you can share her.
Yeah, usually she comes on live, but she just had her 4th boy a few days ago. She's my fitness instructor at my club, and oh my gosh. And her kids just love the shakes. She whips them up. She doesn't even use a blender. She just shakes them and pours them, and they drink it, and they take their VitaSquares, the VitaGuard, and the babies were on the Liquivite. And I have to say that, so she had her first son, and then she had a set of twins, and she couldn't get pregnant, and then she got pregnant again. So she's got four little boys, and she's full of energy, and she's so grateful for the Neolife products. So made a huge difference. But one product that I'd love to talk about now is the omega-3, the fish oil. I have to say it's so important, especially during pregnancy from mom to carry to baby, because it does help with nerve cells. I mean, the fetus makes 250,000 nerve cells every minute. And after 6 weeks, half of the weight of the fetus is brain weight. So these essential fats from fish play a really big role. By the 3rd semester, 70% of the energy reserves of the fetus are directed again towards brain development. And it takes about 4 years for a mother to replenish her supply of DHA that's depleted from the fetus. So I have to say that this is something, it's a brain fat, and it governs almost every conceivable mental function. So it's so important for mom to have enough to give to baby. Okay, you hear so many stories now of moms having postpartum depression, and these omega-3 fish oils play such a big role. It's one of my favorite products. I mean, it enhances brain function, memory, improves dyslexia, ADD, circulation, concentration, learning. It decreases aggressiveness and irritability, improves moods by upregulating serotonin. Okay, so omega-3s, such a big role. And we're even featured in the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists as being a safe product for moms to consume, because a lot of the omega-3s out there have mercury, lead, traces of mercury and lead, and you do not want to be consuming any kind of toxin, especially as a pregnant mom, that can pass down to baby. So we're so proud of this product, and I took it during my pregnancy, and my kids took this product growing up. And some of you know, my oldest son, Jack, had a brain injury 2 years ago, and they gave us a 4 to 6 month window recovery. And the brain surgeon at the hospital had Jack on omega-3 for healing of his brain. And I was so grateful to hear that. And then when I talked to our scientists, you know, one piece of advice they gave me was that because Jack had grown up on these products and taken the fish oil his whole life, that he would recover a third of the time faster. And he came home in 6 weeks with 100% recovery. And I know that these nutrients played a critical role because of reducing inflammation in the body. So omega-3, the Neolife omega-3 was published in a medical journal to reduce inflammation 68% in just 8 weeks. This is very, very important. So important for our kids today, because our kids are consuming a lot of foods that cause inflammation. Okay, so our omega-3 from Neolife is also tested for 200 contaminants with an allowance of 0. Okay, so safe for mom, safe for baby, safe for kids, and just amazing product. And this is an amazing, I can't believe this. Watch this.
Do you like your salmon oil, Marley? Yeah. How do you eat it?
Chew.
You chew it? What are you chewing right now?
A hard vitamin.
A hard vitamin?
She chews the salmon oil.
Do you like the salmon oil? Yeah.
So I don't know if you can get your kids to chew that lovely product, make huge, huge difference. Some kids swallow it, some kids chew it. Just a great way at any age to fill those nutritional gaps. So when you're looking at the products for kids for nutritional support, you're looking at the Liquivite that Shelley talked about, which is the liquid vitamin. Then you're looking at when they start getting teeth, they can start chewing the Vita Squares and the VitaGuard. They can add that protein drink as soon as they can hold a sippy cup. And I even have an amazing story of one of our customers in Mexico is actually making baby formula using that Neolife shake. So if you ever want that recipe, just reach out to me and I can send that to you. So just again, a safe product for kids. And then there's our teens. Okay, so when your kids are small, you can sort of control, what they're eating, and you can, prepare their meals. But sometimes when they get to that teenage age, they're not at home as much. They're hanging out with their friends. Boy, but when you look at what's lacking in our kids today, they're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and their fiber is so low. They're not eating those vegetables, the green and the orange. Whole grains are very low. I mean, we're just not getting these nutrients for our teens today. And adolescents have greater needs. Their hormones are growing, they're developing, and as you can see, Luke played a lot of football, and the recovery that this boy had, both of them. So Jack with his brain injury and some broken bones, the recovery is amazing. But Luke's had a couple of serious sport injuries. The recovery was absolutely incredible because the nutrition was solid. So I'm going to have him share very quickly. I'm going to go a little further on in this video, only because I just want you to hear him speak.
Reducing inflammation in the body, your body heals so much faster. So we've seen it happen with athletes, and I'm very grateful. I know Luke's very grateful for having the products. So he's just going to share a little bit, just a few minutes on how how the products have impacted his athletic career. Hey Luke, hey. We're in Kingston at your basketball tournament, and you just had an awesome breakfast with vanilla Neolife shake along with your Pro Vitality. Yep. Do you just want to share a little bit of your experience with the Neolife products?
So I guess start off with the shakes. I've been drinking those every morning since I don't even know how old. I don't remember when I first started, but it's amazing. It helps me get up every morning, and you really notice that kids are tired at school every single morning. And they never eat breakfast, and that's one big thing is that my mom always makes me a nice breakfast with my shake. Always keeps me awake for the whole day. And also other products, just like we were saying about my injuries. My concussion actually for snowboarding, I fractured my skull, the orbital bone of my skull, and it was pretty bad because there was a hole going directly from my airways to my eyes. So when I breathe, my eye would pop out. But I've healed so quickly with the products that my mom gave me that I was shocked, and the doctors were too actually. That they didn't have to do any surgery; it just naturally healed up, and everything was fine. And same thing with my ankle injury; that recovery was insanely fast. My coach, they were all just in shock that I was playing the very next game actually. So yeah, quick recoveries. I love this stuff. It does magic. I'm not joking, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Luke.
So that's my Luke. Just, so we have so many testimonials of kids recovering so much faster. The salmon oil, and again, the protein just plays a really big role. So our teens can definitely take that Pro Vitality that we talked about that contains the grain oils, trionine, the carotenoids, which are those antioxidants from your dark colored fruits and veggies, your omega-3 fish oil, and a multivitamin, all in this convenient pack. It's easy, it's convenient, and it's just a lifesaver for my boys. So again, it's equivalent to consuming in every month 12 pounds of whole grain, 80 pounds of raw fruits and vegetables, and 10 servings of omega-3 fish in every single box. Your kids won't be eating that. So a few other stack-on products that I want to talk about, option for kids, are also vitamin C. This also plays a really big role with the immune system. And what's really nice about our vitamin C, one is equivalent to consuming 4 tree-ripened oranges in every tablet. So again, made from whole food. Additional support, calcium, magnesium, again, vitamin C, that probiotic acidophilus, especially if kids have been on antibiotics or if they have some bowel issues. The aloe and the acidophilus are 2 amazing products that help with constipation and just putting in that good live bacteria. Aloe, I have so many testimonials on kids with severe constipation, tummy troubles, even anxiety, trouble sleeping. There's so many studies that aloe vera helps in so many areas of the immune system, respiratory, again, just promotes healing. And again, reducing inflammation and fantastic for stress. And they only use the gel portion of the aloe as opposed to using the bitter portion of the leaf, and has all, key nutrients from vitamin C, electrolytes from potassium and magnesium, and just to help to support the cardiovascular system and the nervous system. So again, the quality of this product is incredible. And then there's another favorite. I know this is one of my sister's favorite. I'm gonna have her share her story very soon. But one thing that I loved about this product is, some of you know, my Jack is like 6'6", and when I bring a container of berries home, it was gone. Like sometimes we'd be shopping and in the car, the berries would be in the back, he'd eat them all before I even got home. So, I mean, it was so hard to keep these berries in the house, and so we could share them, and the cost factor. And then not only that, they're not always in season and they're not always the great tasting. Whereas this product, the tray, is literally a liquid of nutritional essence, powerful antioxidant. It's not just a juice. Okay, 1 ounce is equivalent to consuming over 6 cups of spinach. So just a powerful antioxidant. And I'm going to have Diana share a little bit of her kids' story and how these products have helped to strengthen their immune system. And she's got a couple of picky eaters, and Abby eats just about anything. But Diana, if you want to share a little bit about just how much you appreciate the products and having your kids grow up on the product. You have to unmute yourself too, hun.
Yeah, I mean, like, my kids are Abby and Dwayne. Dwayne's 11, Abby's 10. They've been on the product since they were babies. Like the Liquivite, the liquid, and as soon as they were able to chew, they were on the chewables, and they always loved it. They were good eaters, but then as they got a bit older, they started, getting more into the sugar, and it's so true. It's just like, it seems like there's always some kind of event or something where there's sugar involved. Christmas, Valentine's, Easter, like it's never ending. So it's really hard to stop like them getting into the sugar, so they were really healthy, but as the sugar got more into their lives, and I couldn't control it as much, that's when like my son started getting more like, he'd get bouts of eczema, or he'd get more sniffly. He started getting like more allergies. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is not good, right? So I started to really look and get a little bit more strict with their diet, but and making sure that I looked to see what else I can add, because he actually wasn't taking the tray juice. So I was like, what else can I give him? So I got some tray juice. And as soon as Dwayne started taking tray juice daily, I noticed that his allergy, like his sniffly nose, because he always started getting like a runny nose and stuff, and he'd get like the little like rashes or something on his hand. It just went away. So it took about, I don't know, maybe like a week or so, or 2 weeks, and then I just noticed that he wasn't sniffling anymore. And I'm like, Dwayne's like not sniffling, like what's going on, right? So I really believe the tray juice like helped him and increased his immune system. Abby, she's on to like the vitamins that you swallow. So she's like off the chewables. Dwayne still likes the chewables, which is fine, but her diet isn't as good either. So it's like, it's really hard as they're getting older, where I love that they have the products to help them with their immunity, because they don't get sick very often. Like apart from Dwayne having like the sniffles or whatever, or allergies and stuff, they hardly ever got like really bad colds or flus and stuff like that. So I really believe that the vitamins helped with their immunity and fighting off stuff like that. And also with the the protein shake they'd have in the morning. And I really found with the protein that that it would really help with their moods. So if Dwayne would miss a protein shake, I really noticed he would get cranky, or he would get like more snippy and stuff like that. And his mood would be off. And I would right away say to my husband, did Dwayne have a shake? Like, what's going on? And he'd be like, no. And so I knew it's like, he has to have a shake. Like if he doesn't have it, I notice he's, because if he doesn't have a shake, he'd have toast or cereal, or he'd have so we do try to do the eggs, or we try to give him protein, but on days where we know he's not going to have like a full, proper breakfast, because we do like a bigger breakfast on the weekends and stuff, the week mornings where it's like a rush, it's always shake. And I noticed that it really, really helped with his moods and stabilizing him, and not giving the crankiness was really something that I noticed, where they just would get kind of down, right? So that's something that I really, really noticed with my kids. They're on all the products, and as well as the aloe juice comes out, especially for Dwayne. He loves it. If ever he's like, Mom, my tummy, I don't feel that good, aloe juice, they love it. They have never had any problems with digestion, no constipation. They're really great. They're really regular. They sleep great. So I really find that this is something like a lifelong thing that they're going to always be on. And I'm just happy that, they have this. So, because it's it really does fill the gap, and because they don't eat perfect all the time. So I love that it does that. We have that for them to take and to keep them healthy and stuff. So
Thank you so much, Di. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. So another thing, and I know Diana has her family on this too, and many of us are taking vitamin D, especially during this this crazy time. We really need to support our bodies. In the Neolife vitamin D, I'm so grateful. It's made from plants. It's a plant-based mushrooms and reindeer lichen. It's not made from sheep wool or lamb's wool, like most of the vitamin Ds that are out there. And this is really important, again, for strengthening your immune system. So when you're looking at supplementing and looking at Neolife and these whole food supplements that we've talked about tonight, I think a big question is, who do you trust? And that was me 30 years ago. I wasn't sure, because I had never taken supplements before. My mom had taken supplements and they didn't help her in any way. So I didn't really have a lot of faith in the area of supplementation. And there's so many products out there that are deemed not safe, or, they do studies and tests where they found inactive ingredients or hidden active ingredients. And, so you really don't know who to trust. And that's why the closer I looked at Neolife as a company to try the products, first of all, I was impressed that they'd been around since 1958. Right? The company is in over 50 countries worldwide. They have a lot of firsts in the industry, and they have a respected scientific advisory board, a team of scientists that work together in developing and manufacturing the products. And they really based all of their products are not just made from natural sources, they're made from whole food. They stay within the human food chain and non-GMO since 1958. This is one of the biggest reasons why the products work and people get results. And these are the scientists. I know, Shelley, you've had an opportunity to meet them and talk with them at many conventions. And, they don't just endorse the product. They're actually involved in working together and developing and manufacturing the product. You can hear them speak on many of our platforms. If you want to learn more about the nutrition side of things, you have access to these guys and you can hear them do amazing presentations. And I did have the opportunity of meeting Dr. Arthur First, who is one of the top cancer researchers and top toxicologists in the world, okay? And he really believed that food was our medicine, and then we needed to look at food to strengthen our immune system. Published in several peer-reviewed medical journals. These are third-party studies, not just published by Neolife, and this is really important as well, okay? So when you're promoting health, you also need to look at the environment, especially with our kids today. There's so many toxins in our environment, and they spray our food with pesticides and herbicides. So you need to also look at getting toxins out of our life. That plays a really big role in our kids' health today, like drinking purified water, using chemical-free moisturizers, and, be careful with medication, eat a clean diet, and also environmentally safe cleaning products. And this is something that I was so grateful. And I hear so many testimonials of young moms, first of all, with eczema, even just switching over to the laundry compound, where their skin is able to heal better because they're not putting those toxins into their clothing. And then our light duty cleaner to wash our fruits and vegetables, and our Super 10 replaces like the Comet, the Vim, all those toxic cleaners. And I remember, talking to some young families where kids that have asthma or respiratory issues, and they started cleaning their home with the Super 10. It made a huge difference in helping them to heal. So amazing cleaners, safe for the family, safe for kids. And I have to say, when Jack was 2, he did drink that Super 10, my oldest son, because he thought it was aloe vera juice. It was he's my, oh my gosh. Yeah, he like experimental child. Anyways, I just gave him a glass of water and off he went. Whereas if it would have been any other cleaner underneath that kitchen sink, I would have been calling poison control. Okay, so safe for the family, safe for kids, safe for the environment. And even our light duty cleaner, this is how safe and effective it is. It was strong enough to save the penguins in the oil spill in Cape Town, South Africa. Neil Life donated over $50,000 worth of cleaner and saved over 25,000 penguins. So it was strong enough to remove the oil from the penguins, but gentle enough that they were able to continue their mating. And this is the soap that I use to wash my fruits and veggies with, because all your foods that are sprayed with an oil-based pesticide. So this will take it all off. Again, safe for the environment and safe for fruit and veggie washing. So as you can see, parents do make a difference. So, your children will become what you are. So be what you want them to be. And I think we really are the ones that are role models and need to be there to give them that foundation as they're growing and developing into young adults. So how do I get a hold of these products? So I'll have to share with you, to become a member of the Neil Life Wellness Club is free. And as soon as you become a member, you automatically get a 15% discount. And to get wholesale, all you have to do is go on auto ship. So that Vitality Pack is a month's supply, a protein shake lasts 2 weeks. So if you set that up on auto ship, you get wholesale price. Also, you get all your shipping back in 6 months for being a loyal customer. And we do have a referral program. If you refer 3 to one of those health packs that we're going to talk about, you get your pack free every single month. And we have other we have fitness challenges and weight loss challenges if you struggle in that department. Just amazing support group as well. So these are the products that we're looking at for our young children. You're looking at the Liquivitas babies, the chewable, the Vita Squares, the Vita Guard, the fish oil, and then the protein shake. So this is perfect foundation for our kids. And then as they get into the teens and adults, then you can upgrade them to the Pro Vitality and pair it with that amazing protein shake. Again, this is a product that you can mix with water, or you can make it fancy in a blender with all kinds of fruit. So again, 2 different ways that you can have this amazing product. That breakfast pack is definitely our bestseller and an amazing place for our kids to start. If you're curious to hear more stories and testimonials, there's a Facebook group called Neil Life Healthy Living Community. We have over 8,000 members in this group. And this is where you can just hear some more stories, some testimonials. You can read, there's some videos, just amazing information. Even some information from our scientific advisory board is in this as well, where you can learn a little bit more about the power of good nutrition and the role it plays. And then there's one more option. If you are someone really enjoys helping others and having, I like to say, to have a purpose in life. I was looking forward to leaving my job and just, having the time freedom. So if you're curious about looking at a business, just ask the person who invited you to share a little bit more on how this business opportunity works. And there's another Facebook group where you can learn a little bit more about the business and hear amazing business stories and how it can really transpire into something great. So again, if you just joined us tonight to learn about health, how to have more energy, how to help improve your kids' health, we're going to open up the session after I stop the recording, open it up to questions. If you have any questions about your children, we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. So again, smart and healthy, happy kids is what we want. So I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Shelley, I want to thank you for your amazing expertise, and Diana for sharing your kids' testimony. I'm going to stop the recording and open it up to questions.